when he hears something really bad against the Lord, right? Vidurji hears something against the Lord, he cannot take it. He just leaves at that point. He doesn't tell anybody that he is leaving, he leaves. And in the life lessons, we'll see what it is. First life lesson from this, what we learn is that when we go to pilgrimages, it is not just taking the bath in the Ganga and the Yamuna. That is what Prabhupada writes. Visit the temples situated in those places. To go to some holy place of pilgrimage does not mean only to take a bath in the Ganges or Yamuna or to visit the temples situated in those places. One should also find representatives of Vidura. What is representatives of Vidura? Representatives of Vidura is a pure devotee. You have to find pure devotees in that area who have no desire in life, right? And except to serve the personality of Godhead. So when we visit those places, we are in a schedule. We just go to the temple. Oh, did we see Krishna? We wouldn't have seen Krishna also. Oh, did we get prasadam? Okay, we took a picture out of there. No, that is not the way. We are actually supposed to meet the pure devotees. Why pure devotees? Anybody can answer. Why pure devotees? Why do we have to meet the pure devotees who have no desire and except for the service for the Lord?
They'll pull
Nobody
you.
knows why.
They will pull you towards the spiritual, or they will help us to uplift.
Correct.
us.
Correct. Correct. That is one answer. Jyoti Mataji?
Same Mataji, Lavan Matra Sadhu Sangha.
Correct. That is very beautiful. Actually, Krishna is in the heart of a pure devotee. If you want to find Krishna, Krishna is in the heart of a pure devotee. That's why we have to take their lotus dust, lotus feet dust. We have to take it because Krishna lives in them, right? That's why we have to hear from them. There are a lot of life lessons that we get from them, especially the Brajavasis. I know many devotees, many Matajis and Prabhujis who actually go to Vrindavan. They stay longer, not just to visit the temples, but to talk to the Brajavasis. In their own words, they will actually tell you the, encounters with the Lord, the service to the Lord, right? One is Sadhu Sangha, as Mathaji said and Prabhuji said, that you'll become closer to Krishna. They will show you, they're the GPS, they know where Krishna is. The other thing is Krishna lives in their heart, right? We should excuse, this is the other reason. When Vidurji just left, see, Vidurji had a comfortable life. He didn't have to worry a lot. Who wins in the war, who doesn't, it doesn't matter, because he did not take any sides. And he did not depend on Duryodhana or Dhritarashtra for his living. Because he was a Shudra, he took care of himself in the money matters and taking care of his family. He did not depend on the kingdom for anything. Then why did he leave? Right? And he himself is a pure devotee. So wherever a pure devotee lives, that is a holy dham. Right? He was already in the presence of Krishna. There is a lot of argument by many acharyas on this topic. See, Krishna, where Krishna is there, that is holy. Then why did he leave? That question comes. So the answer to that is because he heard blasphemy about Krishna. He heard, adharma. It was against the devotees of the Lord and against the Lord. He felt that his heart is impure at this point. It is not, but he feels that a little bit of impurity has entered into his heart because they did not respect his Ishtadev, his soul, his master, right? He was blasphemed. He was not given respect in that place. So he didn't want to live in that place. He felt he was impure. He wanted to purify himself and hear from Maitreya Muni. And that's why he left to make himself hear more Krishna Katha and make his heart pure. That's why he left. That is the reason behind why he left. Now, welcoming, this is a very quick section. We'll quickly go through this. When they saw Vidura return to the palace, this is exactly from the purport. I've not changed anything. Especially this shloka 3 and 4 of chapter 13. They actually give who Gandhari is, who Draupadi is, who Subhadra is. Prabhupada in the purport writes one paragraph for each person. So it's good to read it, but I'm just quickly going through the summary of it. When they saw Vidura return to the palace, all the inhabitants, Maharaj Yudhishthir, his younger brothers, Dhritarashtra, Satyaki, Sanjaya, Kripacharya, Kunti, Gandhari, Draupadi, Subhadra, Uttara, and Kripi, many other wives of the Kauravas and other ladies with children all hurried to him in great delight. It is so appeared that they had regained their consciousness after a long period. See, they actually have a fatherly affection, not only the Pandavas, the people of Hastinapur, whether it was Kauravas' wives or their children, they all had fatherly affection towards Vidurji. Vidurji was like an elderly, learned person who always wished good for everybody. It doesn't matter. He always wished. And that's why it almost felt like that they were, in a trance. They were not in a trance. They were just they were just the bodies. Their consciousness was lost somewhere. That's how they felt. See, when great calamities come in your life, what happens is if you're alone facing those calamities, after that episode is over, when you see your loved ones, you just want to be with them. You want to share your experience. You want to share your pain with them. And that is what was happening to all the people, because they felt, they took comfort in just talking to Vidurji, just bowing down to Vidurji. Always it happens. If you've seen in a family, if there are elders in the family, if the youngsters are facing a lot of problem, when they come back home to their elders and they bow down to them, and they just, the elders don't have to do anything. You just share with them, your heart will become lighter, right? It is the same thing that is depicted here. With great delight, they all approached him as if life had returned to their bodies. They exchanged obeisances and welcomed each other with embraces. Due to anxiety and long separation, they all cried out of affection. King Yudhishthira then arranged to offer seating accommodations and a reception. After Vidura ate scrumptiously and took sufficient rest, he was comfortably seated. Then the king began to speak to him, and all who were present there listened. Maharaj Yudhishthir said, "My uncle, do you remember how you always protected us along with our mother from all sorts of calamities? Your partiality, like the wings of the bird, saved us from poisoning and arson." Then, "My uncle, you must have visited Dwaraka. In the holy place are our friends and well-wishers, the descendants of Yadu, who are always wrapped in the service of Lord Sri Krishna. You might have seen them or heard about them. Are they doing well?" So immediately, first they offer Vidurji all the comfort, food, and he sleeps, he takes rest, and then they start the discussion. Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, okay, you visited all these pilgrimages, then you must have visited Dwarka also. So can you tell us, I think I skipped that, but I'll tell you what it is. You must have visited Dwarka also. How are everybody in Yadu dynasty? They're all serving Krishna. How is that going? What is happening? So I might have skipped that, but what happens is Vidurji comes to know that although he is a little far from Dwaraka, his pilgrimage was a little far from Dwaraka, through word of mouth, through the rumors, he comes to know that an annihilation of the entire Yadu dynasty is going to take place. Krishna is about to depart, and the entire Yadu dynasty will be wiped out from the face of the earth. He comes to know that. He hears about that. When Maharaj Yudhishthir asks that question, he does not reveal that. He knows how close the Pandavas are to Krishna, and he does not want to agitate them. So there is a very good life lesson for us in that. See, sometimes truth is unpalatable for some people. It is very difficult. But if there is no reason that they need to know that truth which will agitate them, we should not speak that truth. We should not lie, but we can just avoid that. That is one of the lessons. I think it comes somewhere in Prahlada's episode or somewhere it comes, or even in Bhagavad Gita it comes. There is, I think, in chapter 16 or 18, where we talk about the three modes of material nature. It comes how we should talk to people also, how we should behave also. If the truth is going to hurt somebody, it is much better not to talk that truth. They will eventually come to know, but let us not be the source of their misery, right? So here Vidurji does not tell them, does not reveal that information, that the entire Yadu dynasty is going to be annihilated. Okay. Next, this is the life lessons. I think 2 more slides and we can wrap up. I'll continue in the next class. There are a lot of instructions from Vedurji, but we'll just take 2 of them. I've categorized it so that we can understand it better. So the first instruction is, what is true happiness? I'll quickly go through the slide and then we can get into some discussion. Previously, we discussed how kingdom of Maharaj Yudhishthir was compared to the heavenly planets. He was compared to Lord Indra, how prosperous the kingdom was, and still Maharaj Yudhishthir was leading a renounced life, always engaged in the service to the Lord. Many a times we think we are in good position and successful with enough money in the bank, good relationship and good social status. But a sannyasi is always dependent on God, even for the daily meal. So we think we are more powerful than the Lord. Our duration of life is measured and no one is able to enhance it even by a second against the scheduled time ordained by the supreme will. So let me go through the first 3 lines. So here Maharaj Yudhishthir had all the comforts and he was compared, his kingdom was compared to heaven because it was so prosperous, and he himself was compared to Indra because he was, he was running the kingdom so well. Everywhere there was prosperity, economic development and everything. Still, he only did the bare minimum required for his position, and the rest of the time he always used to be engaged in serving the Lord. He actually gave responsibilities to all the other Pandavas and all his ministers so that he can engage more in the service of the Lord. And even when he accepted the throne, he accepted as if he is taking care of it for the Lord. He is not the king, but this Lord is the king, and he is just an agent or a karyachari or a servant of the Lord who is appointed by the Lord to take care of it. He never felt that he was the king, and that is how he renounced he was. Then Prabhupada talks about a very beautiful statement, and it is very powerful if you understand it. See, many times we think in our life we have everything. We have a good job, we have a good home, we don't have scarcity to eat food, and we have all the vehicles, right? All the transport facilities we have. Our relationship is good, our children are doing good, and in the society, everybody respects me. What more do you want? So you think, oh my God, I have everything, right? But if you look at a sannyasi who lives in ISKCON, they actually don't know where the food is coming from. They don't know what they're going to get that day. Some temples, some days, they may not even eat, right? Because people don't make enough money in the temples. There were days, not now, before in ISKCON, where they did not have a lot of money and they couldn't serve the prasadam also used to be limited, right? So the sannyasi, you think he doesn't even know where the food is coming. He's dependent on the Lord, and look what Lord did. They don't even get one good meal. So who is more powerful? The one who has everything, or the one who does not have even food to eat? So we will start thinking about our supremacy in front of the Lord. Thinking that the sannyasi, oh my God, we are all scared to become sannyasis. Why? Because we are completely dependent on the Lord, and it is very difficult to be completely dependent on the Lord. We always have plan B. What can I do to improve my own situations? We always have that in the back of our mind. And Prabhupada says, see, everybody is given a duration. What is that duration? All of us, how birth was accident, forget. Death is It is going to happen. We are all, there is a label on all of our head. What is that label? That is the expiration date, right? 1 second, 1 more minute extra, if I want to live also, I can't live. Prabhupada writes in the purport, 1 more second, if you want to extend your life, all your savings in your life, all the wealth that you have in your life, all the cars that you have in your life, all the children's wealth that you have in your life, if you give that in exchange of 1 second also, you will not get that 1 second. That is how difficult it is to extend one. It is difficult, no, it is impossible to extend a person's life by 1 more second beyond what the Lord has given us, right? Then he talks about how important this human life is, and every single moment is very important and we should not waste it. Why does he say that? He says we don't know in the next Janma whether we'll be humans, we'll be ants, we'll be cockroaches, we'll be spiders, right? In this life, if I don't solve the life's problem, what is the life's problem? Repeated birth and death. If I'm not able to solve that, how do you think in other lives I will be able to solve that? I have to somehow find an ultimate solution and get out of this cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. I'm going to continue this. And Prabhupada gives a definition of illusion here, which is very nice. Foolish persons forget this problem. What problem? The problem of repetitive birth and death. They do not know at all how to solve the problem of life, but become engrossed in temporary family affairs, not knowing the eternal time. Eternal time is passing away imperceptibly, and that their measured duration of life is diminishing every second. What is that? Say, oh, all of us have a set of time. You think time as a unit of measure, okay? Like maybe seconds or years or whatever unit you want to take. We have a set. It won't change. And every day it is becoming less and less. Every birthday we celebrate, we are going closer to death. We are losing that time. Although we are celebrating with cakes and, celebration and party and everything, we should start crying because we are going closer to death, isn't it? So he says it is diminishing, right? It is diminishing. And what are we doing? We are so engrossed. What are we engrossed in? I have to be better at my job. I should make more money. My insurance needs to be paid. My taxes need the minimum requirement we have to do. But beyond that, if you're always thinking of that, when do you have time for Sri Hari? When do you have time to save yourself? We think this life is real. What I'm seeing is real, but this is not the real life. This is a temporary life, right? So Prabhupada says they're so engrossed in material life that they forget to solve the. So let me read that completely. And that there is immeasured duration of life and it is diminishing every second without any solution to the big problem. Big problem is death and rebirth, namely repetition of birth and death, disease and old age. This is illusion. What is illusion? Illusion is thinking, oh, I'm here. I am the greatest person. I have to acquire whatever I see. I have to acquire. I have to get more wealth. I have to be this. I have to be that. While you're running and chasing that, death will come and snatch you away. And then what will you do? That is illusion. But such illusion cannot work. No one who is awake. So this illusion has no effect on a person who's awoken. Who is a person who's awoken? A person who's in devotional service to the Lord Sri Hari. Because they know the reality of life, that all of us have to finish this drama and go back, right? And he gives an example. Prabhupada gives an example. Yudhishthir Maharaj and his brothers, the Pandavas, were always engaged in the service to Sri Hari, Lord Krishna, and they had very little distraction for the illusionary happiness of this material world. See, renunciation does not come automatically. If you fakely renounce something, you will go back to that. But if you understand the truth and think, oh, this material thing is not going to give me happiness. The only happiness is in Sri Hari, then becomes more permanent. Then you know the reality. You have the gnana. What is gnana? Knowledge of the Lord. Knowledge of that Sri Hari is everything for me. The sambandha gnan. Who am I? Who is Krishna? What is my sambandha with Krishna? That is the reality of life. If that sinks into your heart, renunciation automatically comes because you have a higher taste. When you have that higher taste, this lower taste will be washed away. Because the living entity is eternal, he can be happy only in the eternal abode of the kingdom of the Lord, right? From which no one returns to this region of repeated birth, death, disease, and old age. Therefore, any comfort of life in material happiness which does not warrant an eternal life is but an illusion. Why Prabhupada is saying if you strive hard and get all the happiness here also, it is not good? Because it is not permanent. It is like the bubbles on the water. See, sometimes what happens is you are working very hard in your life for a particular thing, right? You're working very hard. When that comes in your life, you will not need it, or your life is snatched away from you. It's no use for you. So that is what Prabhupada is saying, that, though that happiness that you think that, okay, if I get this, I will be happy, is a fake thing. It is not true, because when it comes in your life will be snatched away from you, and then you can't even enjoy it. And even if you enjoy it, sometimes it is only for a short time. After that, there is something else you want. Something else will make you happy. The next one is renouncing the false identity. So here, Vidurji actually instructs Dhritarashtra, saying that, you always thought that you're a king. Although your children died in the war, all your, family, entire family is wiped out, all your relatives are wiped out, you are still thinking that you are an uncle of a king. Who is that king? The king is Maharaj Yudhishthir. You're still in that fake identity of being a king, which is blinding you. You are blind from birth, but you are blind even knowledge-wise because you are in Agnana. You are thinking that, this is the reality, that you are a king. After being, after treating the Pandavas so badly, poisoning them, trying to kill them in different ways, you are under their care. See, Maharaj Yudhishthir taking care of you is a good thing for him. But you being under him is not a good thing for you. You're still in the trying to get the comfort of material things. Very soon, things are going to get bad. He's warning him here. He'll say, very soon things are going to get bad. What is that bad? The onset of Kali Yuga. He says, very soon there is calamity in the future. It's coming really quickly. The faster you adapt to the process of bhakti, he doesn't directly say bhakti, he says you have to give up all these things. In the beginning, your entire life, you've always been jealous of the Pandu king, because he became the king, you were blind, you couldn't become the king. And then when he died and you became the king, you started being partial to your sons, because you wanted your, without even looking, injustice. You did so much of injustice. You didn't take care of the Pandavas. You treated them very badly. What do you think is going to be your life in Kali Yuga? You're today, and Bhima, whom you poisoned, is giving you food. He's taking care of you. He comes and serves every day. Bhima is the one who comes and serves Dhritarashtra. The food is given by him. How can you eat that food after doing so much of anyaya to them? How can you, take service from them? Give up all these things. He says, renounce all these things, go to the forest. There are many more instructions he gives, especially of time. Kala is what? I'll end the PPT, but the next instruction he gives is Kala. Kala is an incarnation of the Lord. Kalosmi Krit. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says he takes the incarnation of Kala and he will destroy everything. In being a devotee for us, right? We have to understand, we understand it from the beginning itself. Why do we understand it from the beginning? Because we don't have any attachment. We slowly start detaching from all the material things. For a non-devotee, they are still very attached to everything. So when death comes and knocks at their thing, it is as if everything is snatched by Kala. What is Kala? Kala is the one which will give you situations and one which will give you death. If you think of Kala, it is the one which will give you the benefit or the reward of death, right? When death comes, for a devotee, it is very easy because they have accepted that nothing is mine. But for a non-devotee, everything is snatched. So that instruction Vidura is giving to Dhritarashtra, saying that Kala is going to take away everything from you. And nobody has been able to surpass Kala. Even Hiranyakashipu, Prabhupada gives in the purport the example of Hiranyakashipu, who was so wealthy, who was so powerful that even demigods were working in his kitchen. He had an end time. Kala gave a reward for him also. So who are we? We are nobody. So just give up everything. Don't still think of the comfort of your life. What you have to do is the ultimate goal of life. You've not done that. Why don't you take this time? It is already late. Give up everything, enter into the forest. There are many more instructions, and then how Dhritarashtra's life ends. We will see that in the next week. Dear devotees, thank you so much for allowing me to talk. There are a lot of, see, it's very difficult for me to give a Bhagavatam class.